So, Jules, do you think you can wing it till maybe he shows up, or do we need to see the pictures, or can you just describe what you were going to show us? She'll wing it. Jules Kagy, please help me.
Dobrý den, pán a páni. Volám sa Juliana Kagy a ja som minulý rok bola som výmenná študentka na Slovensko. Mala som najlepšie roky na celý život. A tu som dnes na vysvetnutie na vás o môj rok minulý rok. So I said, hello, my name is Juliana Kagy, and last year I was a Rotary exchange student to Slovakia. I am here today to talk to you about my exchange and my experiences, and I'm gonna wing it.
Wing away. We do every week. Yeah. Fitting for a duck.
Oh.
I bet you can speak from right there. You know?
Shout it out.
Yeah.
What did you say, John? You move the mic too. The whole thing. They're gonna bring it to you.
Okay, so like my dad said, I have two older siblings that were both exchange students. My sister went to Peru and my brother went to Brazil. So I figured that when I was in high school, I would just follow in their footsteps and do the same thing. So that's what I did, and I applied to be an exchange student. When I got accepted, it was like, I couldn't even believe it. The application process was really hard. There was like 5 billion pages you have to fill out and go to your doctor and your dentist and everything, get recommendations, all that. So once I finally did that, I got to go to Victoria, and we had a meeting, and you get to choose the countries you wanted to go to. So of course I wanted to go to all the hot spots. I wanted to go to France, I wanted to go to Spain, I wanted to go to Italy, I wanted to go to Croatia.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what Slovakia was. So a couple months later I got a phone call, and I was at soccer practice. I was lacing up my cleats, and this guy, Dave White, he said, "Hey Jules, this is Dave White from Rotary." And I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he said, "We selected you to go to Slovakia." Or no, he said the Czech Republic. And I was like, "Oh." And he was like, "Jules, are you there?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm here." He's like, "So do you accept? Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I just hung up. I immediately called my mom, and I was like, "Mom, I'm going to Czech Republic." And I started crying on the phone, and she just laughed, and she was like, "But that's amazing." So I wasn't thrilled. But I got the picture that I was not going to the hot spots. I was going to the Czech Republic, and I had to live with it. So I started researching all about Czech Republic, and I was getting jazzed to go, and I was like, I'm going to Prague. You're not going to put me in any village, I'm going to Prague. 2 months later, I got another phone call, and they said, "Hey Jules, you're going to Slovakia." And I'm like, what the heck is a Slovakia? So I was already surprised I was going to Czech Republic, so I just had that same attitude, and I went with it. So I started researching about Slovakia, and time went by really fast, and it already became the summer, and I was finding out my city and my host families and the schools I was going to, and it was just like, it was surreal. I couldn't believe it was happening so fast. So on August 26th, 2011, I got on a plane, and it was a 14-hour plane ride, and I stopped in Amsterdam, and then I transferred to another plane ride, and I went to Budapest, Hungary, and I have a picture of my plane ride, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
So I
Don't
took,
let Randy hold it.
Seriously.
A little so I can see it.
so this is the night sky. I woke up in the middle of the night and I looked out the window, and that's what I saw, and it was really beautiful. This was my plane, the wing of the plane, and that's when I was floating, and I was going into Budapest, Hungary. It was the first sign of houses and trees. I could see. This is an old Russian grandma who was sitting right next to me, and I asked her to take a picture with me at the end of the plane ride, and she was just so thrilled. She was like, okay, yeah. So that was my plane ride. We'll go back a little bit. So I don't know if you can all see this, so I hope after the meeting you guys can look through this if you'd like to. Where is Slovakia? I didn't know either. It's a small country in Central Europe. It's bordering, well, Poland is north of it, Russia is to the east, Hungary and Austria is south, and Czech Republic is to the west. So here's 3 flags. Before Slovakia was its own independent country, it was ruled by Austro-Hungary, and it was called Upper Hungary. In 1918, Slovakia left Hungary, and it combined with Moravia and Bohemia to become Czechoslovakia. And on January 1st, 1993, Czechoslovakia had a peaceful split, and it became 2 independent countries, Slovakia and the Czech Republic. So this was the flag of Slovakia when it was called Upper Hungary, and this was the Czech Republic flag, Czechoslovakia. So before the 2 countries split, before Czechoslovakia split, they had an agreement that both the 2 new countries could not use the same flag of Československo. I'm getting mixed up. Československo is how you say Czechoslovakia in Slovak, so they could not. Yeah.
Hold on to me, you alright?
So neither 2 new countries could keep the same flag. So the Czech Republic, in direct violation, refused to refused to get a new flag. So they kept this flag, and Slovakia formed this flag.
Things worse started.
So this picture is a rough image of Slovakia, and it's inside of Washington to see the area. Yeah, Washington is 3.77 times bigger than Slovakia. The language is Slovak, and Slovakia is in the European Union, and they use euros. So I was living in Košice, in the eastern Slovakia. These are some pictures of my city.
Is that a church on the right?
Yeah, it's a really big cathedral. And Košice is the 2nd largest city in Slovakia. Bratislava, the capital, is the 1st largest. There's some other pictures of my city, Košice. This street is actually the street that my school was on, and that big cathedral is right there at the end of the street of my school. So every day after school, when I'd walk to the bus, I would walk past that cathedral. And this is the coat of arms of Košice.
Did you inside the church?
Yeah. Oftentimes before school, when I get there really early, I would just sit in the church. Yes. We have the adapter.
But not the sun.
Corey.
No,
He has it in his car all the time.
Is the whole country? Okay. You were in the east, right?
I was in the east. I was to Ukraine, and I was about 2 hours from Ukraine, and it would take longer to get into Russia.
Okay, and the Ukraine was how far away?
Like 2 hours, hour and a half. I went to the Ukraine with my husband.
Do they have any freeways through Bratislava?
Yes, that's true.
Somebody hit the light back there, Randy.
we can make this work.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. That's better
school, Gymnasium Shurbarova 1. This is the front of the school, and it looked huge from the outside, but actually it was just some hallways that made a square, and inside was this big courtyard at the bottom. This is what the hallways looked like. It was a 3-story school, and it was beautiful. This is my class. I was in a class with 27 girls and 2 boys.
Where'd all the boys go?
2 boys? Wow.
We got a shortage of boys there.
So when I was in school in Slovakia, I was a 3rd-year student, and our class was a German class, so most of the subjects were taught in German, actually. There's 13 subjects that we took, and every day you had a different schedule. So some days you would start at 7 in the morning, some days you wouldn't get to school till 10, but you would get out of school at 4. So it was hard to get used to, because I'm used to the same schedule every day in American high schools.
What happened to all the bush?
Or you're not going to tell, which I mean.
No, there's different types of schools. So a gymnasium is a school that teaches every subject. There's also different schools. There's schools where you can go for just automotives, or like hairdressing, or cooking, or painting. And so most of the boys didn't want to go to the schools that had every single subject. So actually in my school there were very few boys. So I didn't live exactly in the city of Košice. I lived in a small village called Poprad. Poprad had about 2,500 people. These are some pictures of it. The top right is a picture of the city hall, and my host dad was the mayor.
Cool.
Yes. That's a picture of one of the streets. Up the hill is where my house was, my first house. These are just other pictures of when you look out on top of a hill, you can see the whole village because it's really small. These are pictures of my first host family. So this one is on Christmas, and there's my host mom, me, my host dad, and I had 2 twin host sisters, and there's my grandmother. The bottom, those are me and my 2 twin host sisters. There's my host mom, my host dad, my host niece, and then another picture of one of my host sisters and my host brother. This is my second host family. So there's my host mom and my host father up top, and the girl that I'm with in those 3 pictures, her name is Gabika, and she's actually my host parents' granddaughter. Gabika was a Rotary exchange student the year before me in California, so she really helped me out through the year because she spoke fluent English, and she just sort of got it because she was an exchange student. So,
Cool.
at the bottom, that's a picture of us at a wedding. So, Slovakia has some of the most beautiful mountains I've ever seen in my entire life, and they're the High Tatras. So, this is me when I was skiing on the High Tatras. I went multiple times, but probably the best week of my entire life was a Rotary function. It was called Ski Week. So we lived in a lodge on the top of a cliff for 1 week with all the exchange students in Slovakia and Czech Republic, and there was about 45 of us. So it was chaos. But it was really fun because there were students from Mexico and Brazil and Colombia who had never seen snow before and had never even dreamed of being on a snowboard, and they were taught how to ski and snowboard, and it was awesome. So we got these bright yellow vests so everyone could keep an eye on us on the mountain.
Mind you.
They would have our names and our country on the back.
Cool.
And in the front it has the Rotary flag. And then it would say the ski camp name and the dates. So we can always remember it. I promise I wasn't a construction worker last time. Here's some other pictures from Ski Week. So those are us in our vests, and these are big group photos of all the exchange students. In Košice, my city, there was 5 exchange students. There was me, a girl from Canada, a boy from Brazil, a girl from Mexico, and a girl from Japan. And we became so close, like a family. That picture is me playing the piano, and the boy from Brazil and the girl from Mexico just bothering me. The top picture is when we were in Banská Bystrica, which is a city in the central part of Slovakia, and we are the man in the middle with all the bling. He is the Lord Mayor of Banská Bystrica. He's real famous. And I played the piano for him, and it's cool. The bottom picture is us at a Rotary ball in December, and we were balancing spoons on our nose. I don't know. Here's some other group photos of my exchange student friends. Everywhere we went, everyone would pull out their country flag and have a picture with it. So we were famous for being the group of foreigners with a bunch of flags standing in front of monuments and other things. So those are some group photos. And that was one of my really good friends, Leah, and she's from Michigan. She was in Slovakia along with me. Now I'm going to talk about Slovak cuisine. So their national dish is called brinzové halušky, and that's this top picture. Brinzové halušky is like really gross when you first try it, and if you're a foreigner, like if you don't have Slovak blood, I promise you will not like it when you first bite it. But after a year of living there, and then you have to leave, I promise you'll dream of it every night. So what it was is like potato dumplings, real small ones, mixed with brinza cheese, which is from the goat, and that cheese is only found in Slovakia. Not even the Czech Republic, which once was the same country, they don't even have it. Below is pierogi, or pierogis. Inside was also brinza cheese, the cheese from the goat, and then on top was like little pieces of pork or bacon.
Pierogies are good.
Next is this top picture. It's a soup made out of sauerkraut, and there is sausage in it, sauerkraut, potatoes, lots of other vegetables, and it's so good. This one at the bottom is called svíčková knedlíky, and what those white things are is like dumplings cut into thin slices, and then there's a meat with sauce, and then you have some kind of like berry sauce on top, and then like a cream. It's a bunch of weird different flavors put into one, but it's actually very nice. Below is parki, which is sausage that's in a jar full of vinegar for like 3 months, and then you take it out and you eat it with like pickles and onions, and it's really good too. The desserts. So almost any kind of dessert, Slovakia, they call them koláč, which means cake. So it can be like, that's just what they called all desserts. Or they call it sladké, which just means sweet, so sweets. So the top one, those are called koláč, and it's makový koláč, which is poppy seed, orechový koláč, which is nut, and then I think that's all that is in that picture. Those are like little cookies with some jam in the middle, and then those are also little cakes. This is me and my first host mother making makový koláč. So there's dough, and then poppy seed ground up with sugar, and then you roll it up and you put it on the pan, and then you bake it, and you cut it in pieces and you eat everything. The drinks. So kofola is Slovakian Coke. They're very proud of it. Everyone loves it. It tastes really weird, but they're very proud. The second one is vinia, and it's made from grapes, and it's the best thing you'll ever drink. It's awesome. To the right is all the beer that's actually from Slovakia, and they are so proud of it.
And is it good? I can't break it. She is
These are 3 really famous alcohols from Slovakia, and these are Rotarians in my Rotary club that we're drinking it. They're in a pizzeria which my second host family owned, and my host dad's mother lived in. It was the house that he was born in, and they made it into a pizzeria.
Which one of those was your favorite?
I never tried any. So there's
Can't even keep a straight face.
Borovička, there's Slivovica, a Becherovka.
She knows.
So there's some pictures of my Rotary meetings in Pokroč, my village. It was mostly just one long table, people sitting on either side, and the president and YEO and secretary, they sit at the top of the table. And it was every Friday at 7 p.m. and we would eat and talk, and then I would always end the meeting with playing the piano for
So there
them.
was singing then,
They didn't sing.
They listen to
didn't
Jules
sing.
play the piano.
Yeah, I would play the piano for them, and then they would usually always watch a soccer game afterwards.
How did they serve the meeting?
They would wait for everyone to get there, and then they would serve their food sort of like us, and they had a bell that they would ring as well. So it's pretty much like how we started. I did a lot of things with my Rotary Club. I went a lot of places with separate Rotarians, and then also our whole club would always go hiking. Hiking is really popular for Slovak people because with such like beautiful mountain ranges, how can you not go hiking? So this is actually behind my village. We went for like a 15-hour hike. It was awesome. It was really fun. We stopped. There's like all these little cabins sort of just scattered away in the woods that everyone knew where they were. And so we would walk down the trail and we'd stop at a cabin and pull out some sausages or something and take a snack. And also they would always drink on their hikes because it keeps the body warm. And then when we would get to the top of the mountain or wherever our destination was, they would bust out a bottle. And that bottle was actually Pisco from Machu Picchu, because my whole Rotary Club has been to Machu Picchu 4 times.
Wow.
So this is some of the traditional folk costume and clothing of Slovakia. There's this guy dancing, and they do these cool dances where they like kick up their legs and slap their thighs, and they hop over bottles of alcohol. And if you knocked it over, then you were kind of out. So,
Literally.
And up top are some girls in the traditional clothing, and they were singing. And at the bottom, that's me in the middle, and it's our village band, Fortuna, and they would sing classic folk songs, and it's awesome. One of my favorite things about going on exchange was all the awesome experiences and opportunities we had with Rotary. They did so much for us, and one of the best things was we got to go on a European tour. So on this tour, it was about a month long, and we went to Monaco, France, Barcelona, Rome, Naples, Florence, and Venice.
Jeez.
And it was like 40 kids on one bus.
How long was the tour?
It was 1 month.
I went downstairs by myself.
But we didn't live on the bus. We would stop, of course, and stay in hostels and hotels, and we'd spend about we spent the most time in Barcelona, which I had no problem with because that's my favorite city. We spent about 3 days in that spot, and then we traveled Italy, and we were in both of those, or all of those cities for probably 2 days. And we just spent 1 night in France, and 1 day. Here's some pictures. So this is a picture I took of Venice. It looks how it really does look like in a magazine. And up top is Monaco, and at the bottom are some guys that would paddle those boats, and they were wearing stripes, and I just happened to match them, so I had to get a picture.
Oh, yeah, that's all.
This picture is of me in Barcelona behind a castle, and the whole castle looks like it's made out of wax because it just looks like it's dripping. It's really cool. And then that's
That is
me in
cool.
Venice. Another cool part about my exchange is that my family visited me.
Hey.
It was just my mom and dad and my brother Carl, who was an exchange student in Brazil. So after my Euro tour, I separated from my group when they were traveling back to Slovakia, and I sort of just went on my own thing. So I hopped on a bus in Venice, Italy, and I traveled through Germany. And I stopped in Cologne, Germany, where I met with my mom and my dad, because my dad was in Germany for a print show. And then after I met up with them, we traveled around a little bit more too. We went to Poland to see Cordian, who was an exchange student a couple years ago from Gdansk, Poland. And then from Poland, we went down to Slovakia. We stopped at different cities, and we made it to my city. And then after my city, we went to Bratislava, which is the capital of Slovakia. We went to Austria, Vienna, Austria, and then I left them. This was my last night in Slovakia. When you drive into Poprad, my village, there's a sign that says, "Welcome to Poprad." And that's what this means. Vítame vás v obci Poprad. So this is at like 1 in the morning, and I had to leave at 2 a.m. to drive to Hungary, and I needed a sign. I needed a picture by the sign before I left. So
Cool.
that was that.
Is that you?
That's me. And that is all.
Yeah.
Any questions for Jules?
Here's a question.
My Rotary Club in Poprad, they made the soccer jersey for me.
All right.
And they gave it to me on my 18th birthday, so that's why they put number 18.
Nice.
Hey, Jules. You know, sometimes when you try to take the cork out of a wine bottle, it goes down in.
Yeah.
Is there a way?
How would you know?
To get it out?
I
Is there a way to
think
get
I
out?
do know. Not that I was ever drinking wine. Because there's this thing called the 4Ds, and it's no drugs, no drinking, no dating, no driving. So to be a real good exchange student, you just can't break any of those rules. But I was around alcohol, just never consumed it. But anyways, I learned from my Slovak friend, who was also an exchange student like 4 years ago in Mexico. We would always hang out with past exchange students just because it's fun. But he had a problem because he had a wine bottle but didn't have a corkscrew. So he took the wine bottle and took off his shoe, and he put the bottle in the heel of the shoe and pounded it against a tree, and then out popped the cork. And I just taught that to someone I know a couple of days ago. On the Super Bowl day, my dad and they were trying to open a bottle of wine, but we couldn't find a corkscrew. And I just sat there and watched them struggle for a while. And then I felt bad because, just I'll help out because I know what to do. And so then I told my dad to get a shoe and the bottle and hit it against a tree. And they were like, yeah, right. Like, that's never going to work, blah, blah, blah. But then sure enough, it popped out and I drank it the wine.
Jules, you have to bring it and show us.
Yeah.
That works.
I recorded my dad doing it, but
All right.
it's not on my computer.
So Jules, and to thank you for coming and talking about your trip to Slovakia, I want to present you with this Hawks Prairie Rotary commemorative coin as the Hawks Prairie Eagle and the statue. Thank you very much. It was great. You did great. So we always end our Hawks Prairie Rotary meetings with the singing of God Bless America to honor our troops still serving overseas. Will you please help join us?
Bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to Hawks Prairie, through the ocean white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Thank you again, Jules Kagy. Have a great weekend.